Welcome to another episode of the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. This is the podcast where the fiercest women in rock and metal and alternative tell the stories behind the music that shakes the world. Today's guest comes from Springfield, Missouri, fronting a band that's making serious noise in modern hard rock. Their debut single, The Game, hits with crushing energy and atmosphere. And their newest release, this just came out in February, The Wash, dives even deeper, delivering a very powerful tribute to lives impacted by the fentanyl crisis. Leading the charge with raw emotion and a voice you won't forget is JenX. Welcome to the Metal Queens podcast.
Welcome.
And Jen also
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
has a second band, Generations. We'll talk about that coming up as well. But first of all, how did Cognition come to be? And how did you get involved?
Well, so it kind of worked out the same way for both bands. The group of guys that I play with, they've been together for several years. Um, they've just gone through quite a few different vocalists. And anyways, they had reached out to me, I don't know, 6 months before we started working together, and I was actually doing some cover stuff. So at the time I was like, don't have time, sorry. But then they came back around and it just kind of fell into place. And I auditioned for Generations, and then afterwards they were like, well, we also have Cognition. And so I listened to that, some of the music on that one too, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do both if you want. And so that's just kind of how it happened. So then we started doing both.
What's your background in music? Did you grow up in Missouri?
I did. So I was born and raised in Branson, Missouri, which, if no one's familiar with that, it was like the live country music capital of the world in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's a big tourist town. They still have a lot of shows here. And my parents were entertainers for 20 years. And so I just kind of, I guess, naturally became a child entertainer in Branson as well.
So what you're saying
I've been
is,
doing this a very long time.
yeah, it's in your. It sounds like it's in your DNA, Jen.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom likes to tell the story, I guess, that I belted out Delta Dawn with a twang when I was like 2 or 3. And so she was like, oh, she's going to be a singer. And it just kind of worked out that way.
Here you are in two bands. Cognition has a very powerful name. What's the story behind that name?
So I did not have any involvement in that. I stepped into that because, like I said, they've been doing these bands for a while. I actually had this conversation with them the other day just because I was curious. And they liked the concept, of cognitive abilities, and then they liked cognition, so they were just like, let's do Cognition. And I guess they also had a full list of some other bands that they were choosing from, and they just decided to go with that one.
What does it mean?
But I was gonna say, for me, because
Yeah.
I struggle with some of my own mental health stuff. So if anything, I guess my cognitive abilities are lacking in some areas. And so, what, I guess it's kind of ironic. Why not? Why just be in a Cognition? But, we are, we did write that song, or Daniel wrote that song about, the fentanyl awareness, and mental health is important too. And I think all that factors into it. So I'm just like, if we want to, for me, if I interpret it that way, I'm cool with
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was going to ask you. What does it mean to you, that name? But now let's stay with The Washed for a minute here, the latest single. It does tackle the fentanyl crisis, which is a heavy and emotional subject too. Was somebody impacted with that, with a family member in the band?
Yes. So Daniel's cousin
Mm.
passed from fentanyl. I've lost several friends in my lifetime. I think, unfortunately, it's one of those things that's so bad that I don't think you're going to find somebody who hasn't been
Yeah.
impacted in some kind of way, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's, even just an acquaintance. It's bad.
Yeah. No, it is. The Game, debut single for you guys. What's the story behind that song?
So, um, I've definitely had my own experiences with some toxic relationships in my life. I think that unfortunately some people, if not most people, will experience one at least within their life. I think it's kind of how we kind of learn what we don't want,
Mm.
through that process so that we know what we do want. And it is all about growth. And I think the game for me is that struggle when you're in a toxic relationship, just the constant cycle that you just can't get out of.
What is the songwriting process like in this band? Is it a true collaboration? Is there one main songwriter? How involved are you in that too?
So, the guys write the music. I tend to help with the lyrics, and I make the melody my own. But they lay in the foundation and we work together. But that's, one of the things that I do love about these bands and these guys so much is we, I feel like we give each other our own creative space to bring what we think, what we feel, and it all just meshes, and whatever we all come up with, that's what we put out there.
Let's talk about chemistry in this band. Daniel, Michael, Anthony, and Gavin in the band. What is it like, and what makes the chemistry of this band, Cognition, special compared to some other bands you've been in?
Oh, man, I honestly feel like it was like universal because I couldn't have found a more like-minded group of guys that, we've all been there, done that, we've all been through it, and so we relate on so many different levels of life, let alone have kind of the same creative concepts too. So it's just yeah, I mean it's really honestly been kind of crazy but special at how easy it's been, because it hasn't been easy, in a lot of different ways, in different experiences. So I'm grateful for this one.
You have performed these songs live already, right, at a few shows?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you, is there a Cognition song that hits harder when the crowd is in front of you?
So I don't honestly, I feel like the studio doesn't do us justice. I think we definitely live is a totally different experience. And I feel like it works that way sometimes. I've seen vice versa too, where the studio does someone really, justice, and live it's just a totally different experience, not in the other way. So um but my favorite one, which is hopefully we're releasing next, that's coming out soon, is Picture Perfect.
Mm.
And that one for me, I feel like just really is, yeah, is where it's at.
Is there a song or a band that got you through a difficult time in your life?
Oh boy. So many.
Mm.
I can't even pinpoint, my favorite band, my favorite artist. It'd be hard for me to make a list, and that music is, it's the core of my being in general. I truly get depressed if I'm not singing in some kind of realm, which is why we do karaoke a lot too. And I was doing karaoke a lot before, I did the band thing, because it's such an outlet for me. And so, therefore, just music in general, I genuinely appreciate all types, all artistry. It's my favorite form of self expression. It's just, yeah, music is wonderful.
Give me a
I
couple
don't
of
think
your
I'd survive life without
yeah.
it.
Give me a couple of your favorite karaoke songs. What are your like top two you like to do?
So I really have been going out of the box here lately, because I've always done country.
Yeah.
I transitioned to rock, but I do R&B too. And my husband really likes the R&B stuff that I do, like specifically Alicia Keys. But I did some Offspring a couple weeks ago
Nice.
and had like the best moment for me, it was just awesome. And I love ICP. Don't hate, but I love to rap some ICP. So
Nice. Springfield, Missouri. It's got a pretty passionate underground rock scene. How has that local music community shaped Cognition's growth?
So, oh man, we have had the honor of playing twice in Springfield since we've got together, and we've got to experience, some of the local bands, and it's just the connection has been amazing, the encouragement has been amazing, the talent that they have is amazing, and so we've just I've grown in like my own confidence too because the feedback's always been so good too, and just I don't know, just the support I think overall gives us that confidence, and then of course the experience, every show gets better. um yeah, so
You have another band, Generations. We mentioned it earlier. It's made up of a number of members from Cognition.
mhm.
What's the story with Generations, and what's the what are the future plans for that band?
um so this it's it's so weird how each band has kind of just became its own thing, and they kind of get further apart to me. The Generations is definitely the more heavier side, but it's kind of taken a almost a witchy vibe in some ways sometimes. Which I'm not too terribly mad about. But it's more, for me it feels more gothic in a way. Cognition feels more um a mixture of my roots with hard rock.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I appreciate them both for different reasons because it's almost like different parts of my personality.
And Generations has some shows coming up,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Yeah, we're doing an event in Columbia, Missouri in August, and that is a female fronted event. So there's going to be several female fronted bands. So I'm really excited about that. Um, and then we are doing there's a veterans suicide prevention like awareness festival, benefit festival that we're going to do in September. And I think that's in Salem, Missouri, but we're really excited about that event too. We love getting out there and mingling with the people, and we love getting to play with all the other bands, and we just love to see all the different venues and the stages. Like, we're just living our best lives right now.
Mm. And for Cognition, I know that you have a benefit show coming up in
Yeah.
Nebraska.
Yes.
And then any more touring plans for Cognition? Any more shows right now?
Not yet, but we definitely have a plan for other shows, and we get we're getting lots of opportunities here and there. So we will be busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, you have another single coming for
Mhm.
Cognition. What about new music for Generations?
Oh yeah, we're actually in the studio tomorrow. We're finishing up three, and we have another. Well, actually, we're working on four right now, and they should be done hopefully soon. Because yeah, so
All right.
and
So,
I'm excited about what's coming.
yeah. So a lot of new music coming from Gen X here in both bands over
Yeah.
the next few months. So follow them on social for these releases too, wherever you stream your music. It's Gen X from Cognition and Generations too from Springfield, Missouri. The latest single is The Washed. It's more than a song. It is a tribute, a message, and a powerful reminder of the lives affected by the fentanyl crisis. And make sure, again, you check out Cognition and Generations wherever you stream your music. Gen X, thank you so much for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for watching and for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to the Metal Queens podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Richards. I will talk to you again next time.